Hi, welcome back to Slow Saturday. Better late than never, huh? I will admit I was scattering for news all around and then I realized how late it was. I was also doing something beforehand, so forgive me for being late, I guess. Why did I start off on Aptos chart? Well, that is awkward. Just goes to show how unprepared I am, clearly. Anyways, we're here to talk about Bitcoin. 106,900 has not moved an inch since yesterday. What, did you expect something better? Keep your expectations low on Saturdays. We normally don't get volatility. It's historically proven. Saturday is probably the lowest volatility day that there is in crypto. So not much has changed in terms of what my analysis is. Except for the fact that, I don't know, I was reviewing my last stream. I talked about resistance at 114,000. Scratch that. It's, well, the super trend keeps on dropping lower and lower, which that is a good thing because it will give us an indicator as to when the trend can reverse. Because we were expecting that, right? You're expecting the trend to reverse, to continue higher. We are still expecting this cycle to make another top before we, can say, you know what, the 4-year cycle is done. You're safe to have your bear market bears. But right now, this seems to be more like a bear trap is what I'm thinking, where the bears will start piling up on shorts. I have evidence of this, and we'll think, okay, 126 was the cycle top. We're going to start pushing price lower because there's no reason for the price to go higher. That's what they think. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen because they're wrong. Ultimately, they are wrong. We have so many reasons to be bullish, and I've mentioned them all the time. So you guys should probably have those memorized by now. I'm going to avoid that for now. We will be talking about a bit of Donald Trump stuff, a bit of the No Kings protests that is going on. Full disclaimer, I'm not American, so I have no idea what the No Kings protest is about, but we have Google. And we will also be discussing Bitcoin, where does the cycle top, what indicators need to be hit, all that stuff. And there's this new thing going around called Alpha Arena. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's essentially something composed by this one guy, or maybe it's a team of people, I don't know. But it's a challenge. Which AI, if you give each AI $10,000, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and some other irrelevant one, which AI will perform the best, give you the best rate of return as an investor in the stock market or in crypto, whatever it wants to invest. I think it is in crypto, actually. Yeah, because it's all on Hyperliquid. So we're going to see the real trades. We're going to see how these AI models perform. That'll be interesting. I'll introduce you guys to that. And yeah, after that, not too much other news really to talk about. So we'll go ahead and get into the show. Before we do, subscribe. That's all. Moving on. Hold on. Adjusting my setup here a bit. Getting ready for the big analysis because nothing has changed. Moving on from Bitcoin, not a lot has changed. Ethereum, oh boy, even worse. 3,867. I bet I said that exact number yesterday. I don't know. Super trend is on the way down though. That's what I like to see for most of these, especially when there's like no volatility. The super trend, even though we're not, continuing our drop in this case in a downtrend, it keeps coming lower, which that is technically a good thing. This is so that, the resistances, whichever one that we need to figure out for where price would be considered in an uptrend, it's closer, right? It comes toward us, which is a good thing. It makes it easier and makes me, change the sentiment, change everything to an uptrend, and that is overall a good thing. Yeah, I don't know, maybe bottom was in, probably. We'll see. 0% movement for everything today. Solana 0%, 185.66 current price. Not much has really changed here. Super trend also on the way down from, it's at 204 right now. Look, it's looking like it's probably going to hit 200. Tomorrow is going to be more important than today because we will be getting new pivot levels that will show us where we are to expect price to hit, whether that be supports or resistances. Yeah, none of my orders are getting filled, but it is what it is. Plasma, 2% up today, although it really isn't moving too much. Yeah, I talked about me barely missing this one as well. I don't even know what to do anymore with these. I did get some of your guys' feedback to, I guess, increase my positions a little higher because, yeah, I am getting the areas correct as to where the bounces are, but the specific numbers are barely missing, so I gotta improve on that end. Super Trend's still on the way down for plasma. Hyperliquid 36.57 current price. Super Trends is remaining flat. They're at 42.48. 3% up today though for Hyperliquid. Must be due to that Alpha Arena thing, so that's pretty good overall. Showing early signs of a potential turnaround. BitTensor, it's at almost 400, 399.28. And Supertrend is on the way up here, so I don't think this 300 support will get filled. Oh well. Sui, I don't have exposition into Tau. I don't want to FOMO in either, so I'm not going to be irresponsible. I'll enter when it gives me an entry. Back to Sui here. 248 is the current price. I have a voucher. Did it just expire? I had it, I promise. My triple gifts have been credited. This was just yesterday or something, or the day before. October 17th. This was yesterday. Triple gifts. Claim it. Give me some free money. USDT fixed term. I am not doing that. Here it is. $100, 5x leverage, and any futures pair that I want. Or what is this? Copy trading. Forget copy trading. I don't care about that. I have to actually deposit some of my own money for copy trading, and I'm just not going to do none of that. I don't trust other traders with my money. I only trust myself. You, as a trader independently, must also not trust anyone else. Not even me. You can watch me to, you know, kind of get an idea, see if anything kind of correlates or if we have the same vision on things, you know, just as like a friendly suggestion, but not as like financial advice on my videos. Is just what I'm trying to let you guys know. I'm going to short. Oh, I've shorted Bitcoin. I thought it was on Sui. Whatever. Same stuff. Doesn't matter. Reason I'm shorting, by the way, is because I'm already long on everything else. So if things go up, I'm already making gains from the longs that I have. But if things go down, I would be losing on my longs, of course. That is why I'm shorting, kind of hedging, I guess, with the bonus position, so that it can give me something if things do crash by tomorrow. I don't think they will, to be honest. But with this market, you never know. We have so much good stuff going on, but we're still crashing because we're scared of Russia, Ukraine, and we're also scared of China. And tariffs, something that should be completely irrelevant to the crypto space, but here we are. What is this? Get out of here. So that's what we got. I wanted a short Sui because it's more volatile, but whatever. We're shorting Bitcoin, I guess. It's not going to give me a big return anyway. That's what I don't like about BingX. Honest feedback on BingX. You get a $100, or I don't know, sometimes it's a $20 or a $10, $5 trading bonus. Okay, sure. But it's not your money. You actually have to make a gain. You have to take a gamble and guess where markets are going to go, because they auto-close in 24 hours, so you're not going to get any guaranteed huge gains unless something explosive happens. You're not allowed to trade on any pair that you want. It's only a select few, and it's usually just the top ones, and I guess it ends by the time you reach Sui, and Sui is the more volatile of the whole rest of the top cryptocurrencies, apart from maybe Solana. Solana's pretty up there in terms of volatility, but Sui is more volatile. So in that sense, like, your options are limited. And if you lose, you lose. You gain nothing. You don't lose anything, but you gain nothing. And that just defeats the purpose of receiving the bonuses. For something like a different exchange, BitUnix, for example, they genuinely give you, sometimes it's $150, sometimes it's $100 of a trading bonus, futures bonus. And that's like an extra balance that you essentially get, which helps you, you know, cover margin costs or cover for fees, stuff like that. Because like the actual full amount is there and it gets consumed, which is a good thing. You actually save money. On Bing X, this exchange, you don't really, it's a gamble. And if you're using $100 like I am right over here, I'm probably going to make $5 if I'm lucky, if that, on Bitcoin. So it's really not that exciting. Anyway, Chainlink, $16.73. Not too bad. Nothing worse. 1842 is where Supertrend is at and dropping. So, like I said, tomorrow we're going to have to wait for pivot levels to figure out exactly what levels to expect for in terms of resistances and supports. Kind of help our analysis a little bit here. Last coin I'll analyze is Aptos. By the way, Aptos 3 years old today. Congratulations. 317 is the current price, and we are just heading lower and lower. These are new lows for Aptos. Not where we currently are, but the low that we hit at 295. Ignoring this crash, of course, at 174. Pretend that didn't exist, okay? Essentially, 295 is the low, so yeah. What do I do here? If Aptos drops to 295, will I buy again? Probably not. I'll wait for it to be genuinely oversold, and then I'll buy. Whatever the price is, I'll just buy on market price. I'll be looking at the charts, I promise. To have a look at what other cryptocurrencies are on the way down today, it's probably nothing burger. Bitcoin Cash, if you care. Fetch. Seems like it's eternally in a downtrend. What is going on with that token? Still down 4% today. Yeah, this is like... Look since how long this has been in a downtrend. I mean, not a downtrend, just being oversold in general. A downtrend it's been 14th of October, all the way even up until today, 18th of October. 4 days of constant downtrend. Oh my gosh. Oversold is what I mean. 0G, ZBT, Kava. Yeah, I don't know any of these. Overbought, whatever Pippin is. I never heard of half of these, honestly. But yeah. Nothing necessarily important or good to buy. Maybe Bitcoin Cash. Hard maybe, if you guys really care. Chart does not look that enticing. We don't have that much data. Oh, we do. It's just not loading. Yeah, I wouldn't get into here either way. If you do care about Bitcoin Cash, sure. But I care more about just Bitcoin in general. So I'm sticking with that. Okay, cool. That's basically it for technical analysis. Oh, you know what I did? Oh, we're green. On Hyperliquid, we're green on SUI. That's good. Here's my short on Bitcoin. The bonus position, like I said. I took profit on Pump Fun. 205 profit today, because Pump.Fun has been on the rise. And we do not know why, to be honest. And looks like I sold the top. How perfect is that? Bought over here when it was technically oversold. Sold up here. Does it say how much? 003926. We hit 4033. 3926? Hey, that's not too bad. I've got pretty good timing when it comes to selling the tops. That's a lie. This is probably going to continue rising and it'll make me look like a fool by tomorrow. And we weren't really overbought at that time, but I'm like, I'm not going to take my chances. Pump Fun is going through a hard time right now, but it's still rising despite all the bad news. And that's what I was telling you guys before. I know Pump Fun is going through some issues fundamentally, right? The suing, the arrest of the CEO, all that kind of stuff. Meme coins probably not being that popular. I mean, maybe there is some meme coin that is currently taking off on Pump Fun. I'm not too sure. And that could be the cause of the rise, because it's funny. It's funny to see price go up, so people will keep buying it. So yeah, 8% up today. I decided, you know what? Fine, I'll just take some good profit. It's decent profit, 205. I'll take it, whatever. So that's my only little update that I have on my positions. I'll probably wait to see if there's another entry on Pump Fund so I can re-enter. I do like the project. Good revenue buybacks that they've got. I shared that table yesterday, right? Comparison between a lot of tokens and the top tokens that do most buybacks. Number one, of course, Hyperliquid, which is why I'm also bullish on the project. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and get into our news section. First, we will be talking about Donald Trump, as always. Once again, flexing a strike on these submarines or boats. Look at that explosion, crazy. On the drug cartels, right, that are transporting drugs to America. And we already know the US military has declared war on these people, the cartels. So we're allowed to use our military weapons on them and destroy them. Trump posts, "It is my great honor to destroy a very large drug-carrying submarine." Wow, choice of words here. It was navigating toward the United States on a well-known narco-trafficking transit route. U.S. intelligence confirmed this vessel was loaded up with mostly fentanyl and other illegal narcotics. There were 4 narco-terrorists on board the vessel. 2 of them, terrorists, were killed. At least 25,000 Americans would have died if I allowed this submarine to come ashore. So, to save 25,000 lives for the price of 2, I think Trump sees that as a win. I'm sure we all do. The 2 surviving terrorists, out of the 4 that were on it, they returned to their countries of origin. Shame. Ecuador and Colombia. Oh boy. For detention and prosecution they will be facing. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Under my watch, the United States of America will not tolerate narco-terrorists trafficking illegal drugs by land or by sea. Great, I guess. Good stuff. So there's a little update on that. Here's an old post that I've been laying off because of its unimportance, but it's just funny overall to cover for it. And speaking of covers, it has to do with the cover of the Time magazine. This picture that they posted of Trump. Very unflattering angle with, you know, the sun kind of making his hair disappear, making him look bald. That's pretty funny. And Trump, of course, commented on it saying, "Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair, and they had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one." I'm assuming he's talking about the M and the Time. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, the M of Time magazine. I don't know why Time magazine always does this. I remember one time there was like a post of the Pope. I forget which one. This happened many years ago, so I'm assuming it's Benedict 16. Or it might have been John Paul II. I don't remember. But like they put a picture of the Pope and the Time, the font right up here, was in red. And it looked like just 2 devil horns on the Pope. That was pretty funny. Blasphemous, but funny. Whatever. Really weird, says Trump about his own picture. "I never liked taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why?" Right? It's pretty funny though. Bad angle. So good. This has been happening as well. No Kings protests. Look at how well organized this protest is looking here. Definitely not paid and organized is what some people are speculating. I mean, it's pretty evident here. How do random people, quote unquote, organize to create something on an aerial view like this? These are people, if you can't tell by now, but yeah. This is totally just random people showing up and able to create this No Kings, yes on Prop 50 California redistricting out of people. And the cameras, of course, ready to film from the sky. ABC News helicopter already in the air to capture the No Kings, yes on Prop 50 California redistricting. The human banner with their HD news cameras. What are the odds? It's almost like they knew this would happen ahead of time. Likely paid and organized propaganda, especially when it comes to, by the time it's time to go, at exactly 1 p.m., all of the No Kings protesters in Times Square immediately dispersed. Yeah, totally normal, not astroturfed. Here we go. What is No Kings? It's no dictators or no tyrants protests, series of demonstrations largely in the United States against what the organizers describe as authoritarian policies of Donald Trump and the corruption of his administration. So basically they're thinking that Trump is a dictator. Clearly a leftist organized, kind of protest. Sure. That's all we got for geopolitics. It's probably going to be a really short show today, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Crypto news, bull market, cycle top, indicators. What is going on with it? Here we go. For those that are still thinking that the bull is about to start, wake up. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. If Bitcoin is still following the past cycles, okay. So here's some numbers according to historical data. From year 2015 to 17, the bull market took 1,064 days. It lasted 1,064 days. Okay, this is for 2017. After that, when it crashes, the bear market from year 17 to 18, it's 364 days, practically a year. And then, we bottom for 1 year. Year 18 to 21, bull market happens again, lasts 1,064 days. And then year 21 to 23, 364 days. I'm assuming they mean like by the end of 2022, because by December 22 to January 23, that's when Bitcoin, if we look at Bitcoin's chart, it kind of did its reversal thing. Like that's the lowest point that it hit, and then it started rising again. You even notice it in the super trend that I use on the weekly chart, the 10-3 super trend. That's immediately when it flips to the green, and that's when you know, okay, seems like 2023 is going to be the start of a bull market. And it did, and it's still going to this day. January of 2023 till December 2025 is the 1,064 days that we're expecting the bull market to take place. And then, of course, from December 2025 up until 2027, so all throughout year 26 is when we are expecting the bear market to last for basically 1 year, 364 days. That being said, if that is still the case, from 2023 till whatever the 1,064 days are, it means that we have 53 days left until we peak this cycle, which we are in October. That would take us to November and December. I don't think we're necessarily going to peak in December. I think it's going to be maybe in November. I could be wrong. It could last until December if things are genuinely still really good. Yeah, I mean, sure, even December could be good. Q4 is meant to be bullish in general also. So, yeah. Maybe that is the case, and that just means that what we're currently seeing right now is just a little blip on the way to the top. I still think we've got a huge run left in us. And what I'm seeing with gold, for example, think about it. We're adding, I've talked about the one Bitcoin market cap being added to gold's market cap every week, basically. Like, come on, people are already taking profits on gold. All this money can rotate into Bitcoin, and if we're adding Bitcoin's market cap into gold every week, I mean, that amount of money that fast is how fast Bitcoin could essentially double its price. Think about it, in 1 week, right? If we're taking Bitcoin's market cap and moving it around like it's no big deal, every week we're adding it to gold's market cap. That's why gold has increased from 20 trillion to 30 trillion. It's kind of come down a bit by now, but you get the point. Bitcoin's market cap is only 2 trillion. It's so easy to just double the market cap, meaning that 200,000 Bitcoin could still be in question here. I'm going to be really conservative with it still. I'm still setting my targets at 135,000 with a low expectation on purpose so that I don't get, what's the word, like let down or discouraged if we don't hit a target that I would expect it to, right? I'm keeping my expectations low to not be surprised in a negative way. I want to be surprised in a positive way. I don't want to be overpromised and underdelivered kind of thing. So that's kind of my sentiment on it. So we got 53 days left until we peak the cycle according to historical data alone, right? What is going on here? Trump is just posting. Also, this thing over here that tracks bull market peak indicators, areas where you should sell because that is the top. None of these have been hit, right? None of the bull market peak signals have been triggered yet. There's well, I don't even know how these work, but apparently they do work. We're gonna have to take these guys' word for it, but yeah. 3-month annualized ratio, Bitcoin trend indicator, MicroStrategy's average Bitcoin cost, golden ratio multiplier, Smithson's forecast. This is a lot of studying material to look into. Short-term holder supply, long-term holder supply, Bitcoin dominance, alt season index, RSI 22 days, USDT flexible savings. Am I reading this right? RSI 22 day? What is in the 22 day RSI? I'll probably have to look that up later, but that being said, none of these have been triggered, meaning that we still got it in us before we hit a cycle top, cycle peak. And with the amount of shorts that are piling up right now, the reversal will be pretty evidently explosive, right? Nearly 20, what is this, billion dollars in Bitcoin short liquidations, sitting between 110 and 126,000. The funding rate has also flipped to negative, despite Trump saying that the US will do fine with China. The funding rate has to do with like leverage and futures, right? Especially when it comes to shorts. If we see this, it's basically this percentage. If we see it go negative, that just means there's more shorts than there are long positions, meaning that you get paid the funding fee if you are in a long position, because just so many people are shorting at that time, and it's to help regulate, average out what the price market movements are, right? This is what is called bear euphoria, and I think whales will hunt these short positions. I think so too. It's just a matter of time. It's more likely we see a short squeeze than a long squeeze at this point. Long squeeze, especially on altcoins, it's all gone. Although we are still getting them because people are just revenge trading, over leveraging once again, trying to recover what they've lost. I understand you, but that's not the right way. It's a process. It takes time. You got to be patient if you want to rebuild whatever you lost. Or you could just gamble it away. I don't know. Do whatever you want with your money. But that's not the way in my opinion. So, yup. And there's still, like, even on Polymarket, I checked the odds again recently. People still think we're going to crash below 100,000 before we go to 126,000. There's a higher percentage chance of that on the betting markets, the Polymarket, right? So, I don't know. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see, though. All I know is that gold is on the rise, of course. This is the chart that I wanted to show before as well. I just couldn't find it. I did find it now, finally. Bitcoin catch-up rally will be massive because it is lagging behind global liquidity and gold, right? We know the money exists out there. It just has to find its way into the crypto markets, and that is likely to happen at peak euphoria phases. What we're seeing with gold, the cycle top that we figured out when, you know, you have people willing to buy gold at such high prices, lining up in huge lines in, I forget the countries, Australia, South Korea, some other irrelevant countries. Yeah, people are lining up to buy gold everywhere in the world, really. It's not just in those specific countries. And that's just retail mentality. They don't want to buy stuff when it's cheap like this. They want to buy stuff when it's like exploding like this. Right? So, and also, I never figured out what happened with these wicks. I would not really trust Paxos after any of that. I mean, maybe you can if you want to gamble on their system failing. By the way, Paxos printed 3 trillion gold. Not gold. $3 trillion. Or stablecoin, PayPal USD. What's up with that? We never really got a full confirmation as to what happened other than, oh, it was a glitch and we burned it right after. Haha, sorry. Like, no, what really happened? Anyway. The biggest alt gains always happen after the Ethereum all-time high. Of course, we know this for sure. In 2021, Ethereum hit a new all-time high in January of 21. After that, alts like Polygon, Decentraland, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, and Solana pumped 10x to 100x. So if you're expecting an alt season, we have to pray for an Ethereum breakout above 5,000. And once this happens, that is when we will see the altcoins have their best rally. I feel like that is very possible. still, Ethereum can cross 5,000. Very doable. What I'm seeing with gold has just kind of shifted my mentality of like, okay, where is all the money going to come from to like, you know, double Bitcoin's market cap or, you know, pump Ethereum back up to 5,000 for that matter, right? It's not as inflationary anymore. There's, you know, improvements to their system to make it rather deflationary at some point. Yeah, there's an infinite supply on Ethereum, but they're working on, you know, stabilizing the circulating supply, right? They have it under control, so they have that figured out. You don't got to worry about inflation too hard on something like Ethereum, but on other projects they're still working on it, of course. But still, Ethereum's market cap, it's big, but it's not that big. 466 billion. Okay. If we're adding $2 trillion to gold every week, come on. You don't think some of this money can eventually come to the crypto market? It could go to Bitcoin. It could go to Ethereum. I mean, what's the second option if people don't want to buy Bitcoin? It's probably going to be Ethereum, even if they don't know what it does. The retail mindset, right? Hey, maybe people are going to invest in Tether because they think it's actually a cryptocurrency. It's a stablecoin. But hey, we're still seeing the supply on stablecoins also rise. Apart from global M2 money supply, apart from gold hitting all-time highs, the money is there. It's just waiting to come into the rest of the coins. Otherwise, why do we just have all this money existing? We know it's going to all inflate to nothing at some point. People will want something to hedge against that inflation. And crypto is the answer, in my opinion. So think of this as well. Which one is likely to be first here? I'm going to take Peter Schiff's kind of comparison. He said that gold is likely to hit, what did he say, 1 million before Bitcoin hits 1 million? That's just factually incorrect. But I'll give you an example. Which one will hit $5,000 first? Gold or Ethereum? Right? Ethereum's price is 3,870. Gold right now is, I'll use Pax Gold chart because I have no other reference. 4,200. About the same, you could argue. And I gave this kind of comparison before, comparing something large like XRP and something small like SUI, which both have the similar price as well, which is likely to increase faster in the short term. Obviously, whatever has the lower market cap, because you need less money poured into that asset to increase the price of it, right? Same thing goes with if you're comparing Ethereum to gold. Ethereum will hit 5,000 faster than what gold will. I think gold is going to be chilling for a while over here. I'm sure people are already taking profits at this point, or it will all blow over. Gold will still perform well, don't get me wrong. It will continue to probably go higher in the end. But I'm just saying, the amount of money required to pump one of these two assets to 5,000, it's easier to do it on Ethereum than it is to do it on gold. You could say, okay, sure, but what's gonna make people want to buy Ethereum? Whenever Bitcoin makes its all-time high. And I'm sure that's to happen very soon. I hope to see what happens. By the way, in 1929, so 100 years ago, 10 gold ingots, or kilograms, whatever you want to call this, 10 of those would buy you an average home in 1929. Today, 10 gold bars could still buy you an average home in 2024. It says 2024, but 2025, sure. And even in 2024, gold was $3,000, right? 3 times 10. Wait, that is wrong. That is completely wrong. I'm just realizing this is wrong. Is it really? Am I reading this wrong? 1 kilogram? How much is 1 kilogram? Is that an ounce? Oh boy. 1 ounce, 2 kilograms. Is that the same thing or what? 0.03 kilograms. Okay. Can I go to like a... If that thing said 10 kilograms, 1 kilogram, yeah, times 10, sure. That's, okay, there we go. That makes more sense. 352 ounces of gold. And, okay, I thought my math was wrong here for a sec. 352 ounces of gold. If gold costs 4,000 today, let's just say $1 million, yeah, that's true. It does cost about $1 million to buy a home these days. And back in 1929, I'm sure it would have cost whatever it would have cost to buy a home compared to how much prices were by then in terms of gold and in terms of buying a house. So sure, yeah, it is accurate, confirmed, fact checked by me. Congratulations. Moving on. Stripe, if you don't know, that's a payment processor company. They add stablecoin payments for subscriptions. Great. Thank you. Aptos is 3 years old today. Happy birthday, Aptos. And the birthday present is that we get to buy it at a discount, basically, because Aptos is at all-time lows. 317. That's a steal in my opinion. So there you go. If you care about Aptos, am I following them? I've not even checked. I am. Good. Pump.fun. Points program coming. New XP coming. XP domains. I have no idea. Or it might just be manipulation in general. That's probably why Pump Fun is rising. Does Grok say anything? I'm curious. A sudden price surge in Pump Fun's token on Binance from that to that in under an hour, speculating on insider knowledge amid broader Solana meme coin volatility. We know what Pump Fun is. Recent rumors of an imminent airdrop. That is their narrative, yes. The fact that people are not getting their Pump Fun airdrops, that is what was causing price suppression in the past as well, apart from the CEO also getting arrested. The airdrop thing. But now, Altcoin Gordon's October 18 alert has sparked community buzz with analysts forecasting potential rallies to 1 cent by year end if the revenue rebounds through volatility persists near support at. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about the airdrops if those will be coming or not, but it's still on the table. But people are getting impatient about, oh, we're not getting the Pump Fun airdrops. When is that happening? If we do, it's just going to add to the supply and people will sell. So I don't get the point of it. You're basically begging the price to drop with airdrops. Unless you're part of the ones that are receiving it, it's basically free money, and I understand that, but whatever. OpenSea will be launching a token with the ticker C. 50% of the supply going to the community. It will be launching in the first quarter of 2026. If the bull cycle plays out, as historically proven, that's probably bad timing, because that is when the bear market is supposed to start. I don't even know if we will have a bear market. The fundamentals are just really strong. A lot of people are thinking, yeah, we're probably not even going to have it. I don't want to get stuck in that mentality, though, because what if we genuinely do have a bear market and I'm just stuck with longs at such high prices? So you got to be careful with it. I will be taking profits, yes or yes, before 2026. And OpenSea, if you don't know, it's an NFT marketplace. All right, here's the big important news going on right now. Alpha Arena. So last week, we gave 6 large language models $200 each. DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Claude, that's the one I forgot to mention. Gemini, I don't know what this one is, I'm sorry. And Grok AI. I'm assuming this is Perplexity? I don't know. To trade in real markets, right? They gave them $200 to test to see what happened. Collectively, they saw a 77.9% return. That's not too bad in 1 day, by the way. Interesting. With Grok being the top performer over here. DeepSeek lost money. ChatGPT made $60. Claude lost $70. Gemini made $200. I don't know what this is. Lost $200 almost. And Grok made $1,000 with just $200. Crazy. Grok is likely going to be the more degen play, the higher risk, high reward kind of thing. So it might have been a luck play, right? But we'll see. And it's powered by Hyperliquid, right? Can they trade autonomously, or was it a fluke? That's what we're going to be figuring out with this whole project, Alpha Arena, which is now live right now. So we have 6 AI models that will now be trading $10,000 each, fully autonomously. Real money, real markets, real benchmark. And you can bet, I think, on who will be able to win. What is this, please? Anthropic? Alibaba? Quen. Okay, it's the Alibaba AI, I guess. Don't front run the LLMs. You can see their addresses here, I guess. That's cool. So we can go on Hyperscan. We could literally go on Hyperscan. And we can look up their address. Hold on. For ChatGPT. And we can check. Are they on perps? Yeah, they are. This is for ChatGPT. Shorting everything. That is crazy. I think there's another post that talks about everything. I'm going to keep this here, though. This is genuinely important. The wallets for all of them. Yeah, I would not recommend like copying what these AIs are doing. Because at the end of the day, AI or not, nobody really knows. DeepSeek seems to be long on almost everything. ChatGPT, for whatever reason, is short on everything. Isolated margin, 10x, 15x, crazy. Are they in profit at all? Seems like they're more at a loss because of this Ethereum and XRP short. Bad time to be shorting ChatGPT, in my opinion. But they're still making some profits here. Hey, fine. Low volatility day, I guess. Yeah, and I guess we could see also Gemini and everything else. Claude is mostly sitting on cash. That's crazy. So it's barely buying anything at the time. DeepSeek is going long on alts, but then is shorting Bitcoin. So it's all fully in crypto. I talked about, I think I said stocks by accident. Okay, it's not stocks. It's all crypto because it's on Hyperliquid. You can check it. You can check all of their positions. Interesting decision by DeepSeek. Longing alts and shorting Bitcoin. That's just really counterintuitive, but hey, maybe it's for hedging. Maybe it's got something in its mind, like in its Chinese mind, like what are we gonna do here? We'll just sell whichever's losing and keep whatever's winning, I guess. ChatGPT is max shorting. Crazy. Gemini is even shorter. Okay. Grok 4 is almost max long. And shorting XRP, what a legend. I most align with Grok 4, I think. And Quen is the name of the AI of Alibaba. Quen only longs Bitcoin. Being safe with it all, I guess. I don't know what the configurations are. Like, are you supposed to play it safe? Are you supposed to go for max return? What is the time period? I don't know what the answer to those questions are. Yeah, but that's interesting overall, and they're saying that it's honestly unsurprising that Grok is the most degen trader, and even Elon Musk comments on this and yeah, basically laughs at it. So, you know, this is getting eyes even from Elon Musk on this whole thing. Which will perform best? I'm gonna copy all of these. I'm gonna duplicate this tab. Yes. Search. You. Enter. Perps. That's Gemini. This is Claude. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at all of them individually, so just bear with me. Okay, so that's 2. This is gonna be 3. Oh, search. Here. Did enter work? Oh, I guess it did. Were we already here? Yeah, we were. Well, clearly this did not copy when I pressed Control C. Thank you. Control V. Just XRP long. That is pathetic. Claude, what are you doing? Why are you longing XRP? Grok is doing the right thing with shorting XRP and longing everything else from last we saw. Yeah, there it is. XRP short, everything else long. What a legend. And then DeepSeek. What are you doing, Chinese AI? Shorting Bitcoin and longing everything else. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, it's working though. They're positive on everything, surprisingly. Even in Bitcoin's short, they're making a $51 profit. That is crazy. XRP, they're long, making the most. Okay. Are we losing in Grok with XRP? Yeah, we are. I'm guessing XRP is on the rise. It is up 0% today. Well, probably entered at bad prices, I guess. We're also long on Bitcoin, which is losing the most here, which is unfortunate. Okay. This is really interesting. I'm enjoying this. That's cool. Which one's this one again? Number 3, Claude. Claude is just long on XRP. Hey, they're in profit. You better sell. This is the worst performing one, which is Gemini, Google Gemini. Oh boy. They're making a lot on BNB short though, 427. That is the largest position that they're winning in right now. But it just goes to show, hey, even AI can make mistakes. It's probably why I'm like reluctant to ask AI for investment advice. Like I wouldn't like post an image of a chart and be like, okay, what do we do here? We're longing or shorting? No, I don't think that's the way to do it. You know, you got to make your own decision and figure out what you see in the market and make your decision based on that. Manage your risk properly and you should be fine, probably. Don't go, you know, asking AI or, you know, I don't know, praying to God that, you know, your position goes well because, I mean, on the other side of the computer screen, there is another person with $500 million at 25x who is also praying to God on a position that goes against you. So it's like, okay, that's not really going to work out in this case. You got to make your own decision. God gave you the intelligence to make these decisions and act upon them to the best of your ability. So there you go. There's my message to you. ChatGPT, what are you doing? Yeah, overall they're kind of neutral, I would say, right? What are these numbers? If you're, okay, wait, first let me start clean. 67, 33, plus 21, plus 6, plus 45, plus 18. They're losing $10. Pathetic. By the way, this is $10,000 that these guys have. Well, they're entering properly, right? They are distributing the amounts properly from what I'm seeing here, unless my math is completely wrong. It's whatever these numbers are divided by whatever leverage they're using. That's how much money they're putting in, especially because it's all isolated. Is anybody using cross margin? No, they're all using isolated margin. Okay. Yeah. This seems to be the best performing one. DeepSeek. Crazy. And this one's Grok. Yeah, that one's Grok. Grok's doing okay. I'm going for Team Grok. We'll see. Let me do the math here. 124 plus 91 plus 153 plus 37 minus 14 plus, sorry, 26. They're at a 169 profit, and then I wonder what this is. 56 plus 44 plus 123 plus 29 plus 965 profit, yeah. Currently, DeepSeek seems to be in the lead, so cool. All right, that's all I wanted to check. Great. That'll be all for today's stream then. Like I said, nice and short. Although I usually aim for 40 minutes, and I feel like if I go over an hour, I'm like, oh boy, this is too long already. But yeah. Cool. We'll see what tomorrow brings us. We'll be getting the new pivot levels tomorrow, so that'll be important to look at. Everything fundamentally kind of stays the same. Government shutdown is still a thing. Rate cuts are still going to be a thing. We'll see what happens with Russia-Ukraine. If there's any updates, I'll obviously let you guys know. And really, there's like nothing else happening. So, yep. We'll see when we get to that. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Once again, just reminding you to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will